just want to open it with a smile. That's all. I just wanted to open it. Hey, Lightroom. Hey, Facebook. Hey, YouTube. Because if you don't know, you can no longer watch the replays on Facebook. You have to subscribe to the YouTube channel. So if you missed tonight in person, or if you got to jump off sooner than you planned, you can always catch the full replay on my YouTube page. Okay. But you got to go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube page. But ain't nothing like being in the room so you can ask your questions while myself and the speaker is live. So welcome to the Lightroom. I've missed y'all. I hope y'all missed me. May turned out to be what it needed to be. I had to take a minute to rest. That's the proper word. I had to take a minute to rest, and that's what we did. But we're here in June. June is Men's Health Month, Men's Mental Health Month. And would you know, all of my guests are men, right? I love the way things work out the way they're supposed to, because tonight's guest was supposed to be a May guest, right? A Mental Health Awareness Month guest. But again, life be life in the way it does. And I love when it do what it does. So go ahead and share this live on your Facebook. Go ahead and share this live in your family groups. Go ahead and share this live with your friends. Now, y'all been interacting with me now. Y'all see my content. So I want to see some green hearts in this chat. If you went to Delta State University, graduated or not, but if you went to Delta State University, we need to see you in this chat, right? You got 2 alums about to be in the Lightroom. We're getting ready to have a real conversation. We're getting ready to talk about it. So if you play football in the band, okay, not in the band. But hey, if you went to Delta State University, you need to be in this live. You need to be dropping your green heart for DSU, dropping your green heart for mental health, and dropping your green heart because you're an alum like us. So welcome to the Lightroom. Let me go ahead and make this public because I don't want that to be an issue too. So go ahead. I've already made the live public. Now you can share the live. You should be able to see the live. And we're ready to roll. My guest is already here. I told y'all we upgraded, right? We have a green room for the Lightroom. So he's in the green room. He's ready. He's waiting. And I don't want him just talking to me. You may have questions. If you are a man, a black or brown man, I want you in this space. If you have a son, a black or brown son, I need you in this space. You know, the vulnerability and the transparency we're about to experience shouldn't be taken lightly. But I also want it to be an example of what's to come as we all go through this healing. Right? We want better relationships. We want to stop having the 50-50 conversations. We want to stop putting men against women. The one way to do that is to make sure we're both healthy. My mother is here. We have to make sure that we're healthy as men individually and we're healthy as women individually. And so I am more than elated to sit on the other side of his computer and talk to this young man who has been transparent, who has been vulnerable. And I tell you, if you're in the Lightroom space, it's for a reason. It is for a reason. You have the means to educate, you have the means to empower, and you have the means to equip. I don't put everybody in front of my people, right? So when people come into the Lightroom, you get this for free. When I tell people what I do and how I do it, it's like, oh my God, there's no fee to be on the Lightroom as a speaker or a guest. There's no fee to view the Lightroom, even if you watch the replay. So the information that you get here is information that you could spend hours on Google trying to find, but we're talking about it right here in the conversation. It could be, years of suppressed emotions and trauma where you don't even get the help you need because you don't know who to talk to, who to turn to. This space is open. This space has been made available for your healing needs. We're here to educate. We're here to empower. We are here to equip. And what better way to do that with 2 Delta State University alums, okay? Now, I'm going to go ahead and bring him out of the green room. Go ahead and share this live. Check in with your green hearts. I've already done all the stuff. So when he comes in, I need y'all here. Ask your questions in the comment. I will post your questions so that he and I both can read them, and we'll respond as necessary. So be a part of the conversation. All right? Welcome to the Lightroom. Go ahead and share this live. Let's get him on the stage here, guys. Let's get him on the stage. Boom, boom, boom. Welcome to the stage. Welcome to the stage. Welcome to the stage. Go
It's
ahead
good to be
again
here.
and share this live on the Facebook page. I'm glad to have you here, sir. Again, June is Men's Health Month, and every day, every month is Mental Health Month. As far as I'm concerned, I am. Wait a minute, which side? You know how the camera go. I'm coach. Shout out to the Greenheart University 2024 cohort. As a 2020 alum of Greenheart University, I had the opportunity to speak encouraging words into their lives as they journey on becoming advocates and coaches, such as myself. So, welcome to the community. We need you. We love you. We're happy to have you here. Shout out to Colleen Diana. She's the mastermind behind GHU. She just obtained another certification. Doing the work, y'all. We're doing the work. Our community does not have to suffer in silence. We don't really have to suffer at all. There are resources. There are people like my brother here who are willing to come into such a virtual space, right? Come into this virtual space and tell his story. So if I were you, I would share this live. If I were you, I would be on this live. So welcome, Hogan. I'm gonna call him Hogan because that's what I call him. Welcome, Hogan, to this space. I'm so glad you were able to be a part of it. Again, we've already talked off screen about the discrepancy in scheduling, but I'm so glad you were flexible and open to being here tonight. So welcome into June Men's Health Month, and then welcome into this space. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great. I thank you for allowing me to be on here, Quita. It's a pleasure and honor to be on here, to be honest. And I'm excited. I'm excited. Got a lot to share when it pertains to mental health for Black men and mental health for myself and the stages that I had to go through as I'm still on this journey of getting better mentally and physically and spiritually. I'm happy. I'm excited to be here.
He said mentally, physically, spiritually. Yeah, I'm just saying all the things that make, the girl is happy. All the look, he checking the boxes, y'all. He checking the boxes. Well, I'm glad you're excited. I'm excited as well. So share openly and honestly in this space. Wait, not I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know if the man got somebody not. Don't come for me, ma'am. If you do, I'm sorry. But I have a trivia question for you. A little something new that we're doing here in the light room. I have a question, right? And answering this question will depend on how long this segment be. Because if you give me the wrong answer, we're gonna shut this down right now. All right? Question:
Okay.
5 heartbeats with temptation.
Oh man, this is a tough one. This is a tough one for me. Are we talking about musically or are we just talking about the movie?
The movie. I'll
The
get on musically
movie.
later, but the movie.
The movie. I'm gonna go 5 heartbeats. Movie wise.
All
That's
right, guys.
I'm gonna
Thank
go.
you for joining
Okay.
tonight. Thank you for joining tonight. This is all that we have for Mental Health Monday because he will not come into this light room and not Mr. Paul, Otis, David,
Oh,
Eddie, Hogan.
listen. The 5 Heartbeats movie is something special to me when it comes to just the writing of it, the shooting of the actors, also with the music too. It was pretty dope movie. Don't get me wrong, the Temptation was dope too. Don't get me wrong, the movie was great as well. But I'm gonna take 5 Heartbeats. I think the thing that won me over is the part when they got pulled over by the police and they started singing "I got nothing but love." So I don't know. Ever since then, that little part right there, that just made me love the movie. But of course, I love the Temptation too. Now you can't dismiss that. Temptation is great too as well.
As I gather myself, guys.
Let me
I
make
never
it
thought
quick.
I would cry on camera. I never thought I would cry, but there's no
Let me make
ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. Wish Hogan. But
No
you know what?
doubt.
I ain't gonna need to do you like that. I still love you. I'm gonna go ahead and proceed with this Lightroom live, and we're gonna go ahead and talk about what we came here to talk about because clearly there's some things that I need to prepare you for in this life off camera. Because you should
Right.
always say the temptation, but I'll let
Okay.
you have it
Okay.
tonight.
Okay. Okay.
Always say the temptations.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, look at that. Well, welcome
Yeah.
into this space. So now, if you haven't, listen. What my sister say, he meant temptation, guys. That's all I'm saying. You heard what my sister said. He meets the temptation. And right, sis, we're gonna give him a little grace this go round. We just gonna
I
give him a tad
appreciate
bit
it.
of grace because I understand he might be
I
nervous.
appreciate it. Yeah, yeah.
And in
Thank
the
God.
comments, guys, let me know. He said thank you. In the comments, let me know. Temptations or the five heartbeats. If you put the five heartbeats, I'm blocking you. No, I'm just playing. We
Oh
love the five
man.
heartbeats and the temptation. All right. So we'll get down into it. I hope that got some of those jitters out of the way and now you feel all comfortable and
Oh
you're
yeah, yeah,
ready.
no doubt. I'm calm down now. I feel like, my football games when I used to play football, I always be nervous before the game, but the first play, after the first play, I'm ready now. So that was the first play for me. So now I'm ready. I'm locked in.
That's it. That's it. All
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
we
yeah.
locked in. We all right. Welcome back. I will proceed. Okay. And so, to those, if you just joined, welcome to the Light Room. I am here with my guest Robert Hogan Jr. We're going to talk about grief, loss, faith, and building character, guys. We're going to talk about men's mental health. June is Men's Health Month, and was definitely I was talking about mental health in the Light Room. And here we have this beautiful black man that's willing to share his journey, his life with us. So check in with your green heart. Listen, mothers. I don't know what. Let me text my son. If you have a son, put him in this life. You have a nephew, a brother, a space for them to feel like, they're human as well. And they have to take care of those things that they don't talk about, that we don't see, we don't understand, that they don't even want us to carry as women. And to the men, I appreciate you. I appreciate that. So I met Hogan at Delta State University. Yay. We met at Delta State
Yep, yep.
University, so it's been a long time. A long time we've been in this space. Of course, he was a football star. Right. Y'all got the ring and all that kind of good jazz. I'm going to let him tell y'all all that good jazz about how awesome he is. But we met at Delta State University some odd years ago. And so after that, of course, look at my mama. She know what to say. Temptation, baby. Some odd years ago. But since then, we've been connected in the Facebook space. We've been
Yeah,
connected in the
yeah.
Facebook space. And so in this space, I've seen him share, I've seen him grow, I've seen him be willing to, teach and listen. The heart that you have for children, man, look at checking the boxes, y'all. Checking the boxes. I'm just saying the heart that Coach Hogan has for children, it is absolutely beautiful to see. And I just want to say to you again, thank you for who you are. Thank you for the work that you do, the work you're going to do, and the work you have done. Thank you for your green heart. So that's how I know him. Now I will allow him to introduce himself to you all, and we'll jump into this conversation. Share this live. So you can introduce yourself however you see fit.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna jump right on in here. Again, my name is Robert Hogan Jr. I am from Lexington, Mississippi, Holmes County. I attended J.J. McLean High School from 2004 to 2008. Again, football was my sport of choice. Um, I graduated there, like I said, in 2008, received a full scholarship to Delta State University, where I attended, and I majored in criminal justice. My endeavors at that time was to go into criminal justice and to go to law school, actually. And like I said, again, I played football there, full scholarship, 4 years, 3 year starter, team captain. In that time frame at Delta State, again, I ended up pledging Omega Psi Phi in 2010 at Delta State University. Uh, Again, I played football there 4 years, got 3 rings there, graduated with a 3.3 GPA from there. And again, ended up having my son in Cleveland in 2011. My last year of college, it was like, hey, I almost got up out of here without a kid, but it's like, so, so,
Got to be quicker than that.
so got to be quicker than that. So I ended up having him in 2011, and that kind of discouraged me a little bit from going to law school because I thought, hey, at that time I got to go make some money. I knew my mom and dad and them, they weren't the richest people, didn't have a whole bunch of money or resources, so I got discouraged from that, and ended up, like I said again, doing some odd jobs after college. Working in the prison system, selling some insurance. You name it. I was doing some odd jobs until I finally started coaching, and in 2013 when I started teaching and coaching, and that's what I've been doing ever since then. So that's been pretty much my life, just coaching and helping and building up athletes. Hey, What are you doing? I am sorry about that. My son, he doesn't have a shirt on. He's behind me right there. He's a big old giant.
Put a
Yeah,
shirt on, young man.
yeah. Get your water. Get your water. Yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much about me. And again, right now, again, I'm still a teacher slash coach. I just ended up doing a year at Mac Adams High School in Salis, Mississippi, doing some coaching and teaching there. So right now, I am just enjoying the summer. Of course, we're out for the summer, and so me and my son is together, and we're just enjoying our time here. Yep,
Man,
yep,
brotherhood, fatherhood, all the hoods, good hoods.
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
appreciate those things. I appreciate those things. Thank you for sharing that.
yeah,
What
yeah,
a journey, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
being honest about, what happens when you become a parent, and we love our children, right? We love our children. But when things don't go as planned, I'll say that. When things don't go as planned and you have to, take an alternate route and change, and it seems like, the change, you still can go to law school at any point in time, but the change has definitely been a positive and a plus for those you've been able to impact. So again, thank you for your service and thank you for, being who you are. You said, I guess we'll start here. We're gonna get the hard stuff out the way, right? And we'll
Uh-huh,
start with
uh-huh.
grief.
Okay.
We'll start with grief. And so, November 6th, 2022, my life changed forever. That's the day that I lost my father. Um, yeah, it happens so fast. And I
Yeah.
think I remember reading your story and I can resonate with the fact that it happens so fast.
Right.
And not just the loss, but the thought of having to continue life with such a loss, it just happens so fast. So share with us your grief journey, where you
Yeah.
where you were and where you are with that.
Oh man, it's been definitely been a journey. It's one of those things where it was hard for me to talk about at one point in time again, because I'm gonna say this, as a black male, one of the things that I always tell people, I wasn't my family dynamic and the way we were raised. We were, I mean, of course, I knew my mom and dad and them loved us. We knew that, but me and my sister and brothers and them, we weren't the ones to hug you and tell you I love you and things of that nature. We knew it was understood, you know. But it was never one of them
Mhm.
things where we were that family that sit down at the table, eat dinner, hug, kiss, I love you, none of that. But all this to say this, and I'm gonna tell you about my journey when it comes to grief, and it's a lot. Um, again, wasn't raised to be vulnerable or anything like that, so I just learned how to be open and vulnerable. As the years have passed, all right, because I understood if I kept so much of it in, I would explode, and I ended up having some breakdowns, some meltdowns in the past 4 or 5 years. I have, but I'll explain that all as we talk. But again, 2013, again, that's when I started my teaching and coaching career here in Holmes County, and in 2014, I ended up leaving Holmes County school district to go coach college football in Louisiana. So I was in Hammond, Louisiana at the time, at Southeastern Louisiana, and I was coaching football down that way. Uh, Under my former head coach at Delta State, Ron Roberts, I was there coaching there. And my time down there, of course, was a great experience in Louisiana. But in that same year, about a week before my birthday's in September, and September 29th, about a week before my birthday, my oldest sister by my mom died. Uh, and I think that was the beginning of I won't say downward spiral. That was the beginning of some of my grief, and it just felt like ever since then, a lot of things have been transpiring and happening in my life. Not only just in my life, but my sisters and nieces and nephews and my friends' lives. But my sister died in 2014. Mom and dad, they were still living at that time again. By my mom, it's 4 kids. It's four of us. So I got two older sisters by my mom, well, which one is passed. She passed in 2014, and I got a younger brother. So it's four of us by my mom, and that was my mom's oldest child, and she ended up passing away in 2014 while I was in Louisiana from congestive heart failure. She died in her sleep, and it was one of those things where about 2 weeks before 2 weeks before she died, I actually made a trip home because I was recruiting in Mississippi at the time for Southeastern. So I came home and I had a talk with my sister, my older sister. That I remember the night we was talking, and she was kind of in a depressive state, at that time. And I can remember vividly. And I didn't even tell my mom and dad them about it until a little bit after she had passed, and she was in a place of kind of in a dark space and some darkness, and she just felt like a lot of people, um, she didn't feel like people were accepting who she was and that people loved her, and which it wasn't true. I think that she just had this thing at the time. My sister was also uh, she was a lesbian, a homosexual. My older sister was, so I think that she was struggling with her identity, thinking that people had like this idea about who she is. She was kind of in between, how to feel about that. But anyway, I had a talk with her that night. Remember having, heart to heart with her. She cried, I cried. And on my way back to Louisiana, I'm going back. I'm happy because she seemed like, hey, she was like, hey, I'm gonna be all right, little brother. I got you. I understand everything you're saying. And then one night, I'm in my bed and my youngest brother called me. I think it had to be about 3 a.m., 3 o'clock in the morning. And he's like, man, Erica's dead. That's my older sister's name. And man, I think that broke me a whole bunch. I think, man, so many things had transpired. And I know, and I don't think I handled it well. So, and when she died, of course, I finished the season at Southeastern. I did the whole year there, did the spring, still was coaching. But at the end, in May of 2015, I decided to come home. And the reason why I did was because, like I said, again, my mom and dad, now both of them were kind of sickly at that time, 2014, 2015. My mom was a diabetic. Dad also had congestive heart failure. And so I decided to pack up my things and just, stop my career in college football and head home so I can be around my parents now, man, and closer to my other sisters and brothers who both were living in Mississippi at the time still, because my second oldest sister, which is she's the oldest now, the one that's alive, she stays in Yazoo, and then my brother now, he stays in Atlanta. But at that time, everybody was in Mississippi, so I came back to be closer to my mom and dad now. And so for years, that's when I started back coaching at Holmes County Central Consolidated School District when I was coaching at the high school, and for about 10 years. Um, so of course, that hurt a whole bunch. That hurt our family a whole bunch because at the time, my sister also had a daughter who was very young at the time. My older sister, she had a daughter, even though she was lesbian or whatever. She had a daughter before she really made her mind up. That's what, yeah, she was going all out. So she left her daughter behind, and so that was hurtful. So my mom and dad took her daughter in because of course, that's their grandbaby, and they loved her, and they raised her just as if she was biologically there, which she is. They were her grandparents, but they took her in. There was some great people. We ended up raising her pretty good, but she's doing pretty good in life herself right now. But that was one of the most devastating times of my life because, again, I was young, and for me, I always thought it was my responsibility to protect my family and to be different and to make a name for my mom and dad and my sisters and brothers. So when that happened, and for me, I always had this thing where I was always pretty hard on myself when it comes to my family. If I don't do something right, if I don't get this right, because I'm the first one to, my mom and dad and them, a lot of my family to go to college to get a football scholarship. I'm the first one to pledge Omega Psi Phi. I didn't even know what Greek life was, first one to get, college degree. I didn't know none of this stuff. So I'm the first to do it. So, of course, my brother right behind me, he played football at Jackson State and graduated and et cetera. And he does some work, but I was the first one. So it was kind of, I'm navigating these terrains, and so when my mom and dad and them, they didn't have a whole bunch of money, and very, they made it work, but it just felt like a lot of responsibility I took upon myself. Nobody actually told me it was my responsibility, but I took upon myself. So again, when my sister died, that hurt a whole bunch, and I made it my business to try to keep the family uplifted and try to be positive and make sure that I'm seeing in a positive light and that I am uplifting people around me. And so I came back home and started doing work in my community, try to start spreading awareness about, health. At that time, it's just physical health because I knew, with being African American community, how, we don't take health as serious as we need to start from young age. We wait till we get older and be like, oh no, let me hurry up and get in shape, you know. But
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
when I started to come back and give a little bit of insight about how important it is to start kids off young of living healthy lifestyles and getting exercise, etc. And so all of it fit right into the plan. It was like God walked me into my purpose at that time. I'm like, hey, listen, well, I've been playing football all my life, so, and I'm very good at football. And I know it very well. So this is what I'm going to do. Uh, but yeah, we fast forward, okay, in that time between 2014 and 2020, of course, COVID comes 2020. Uh, again, I'm working at Holmes County Central Consolidated School District, Holmes County High School. I'm coaching, I'm teaching still. And it's crazy because I was at home, I was at my mom and them house the night when this happened. I was there, I came home, I was in the back room, my mom and dad and I was in that room. And most of the time if I'm up there and I'm from here, I would get up in the morning just to check on them because I had this phobia already about my mom and dad. I really loved them so very much. They was near and dear to my heart. When I tell you I love them people, I love them people. Most of my life, it was dedicated to making them happy, And so, when I got up that morning, I mean, when that day before, it was June, actually. It was June 2020. Of course, I'm picking up kids. I'm driving the bus. I'm picking up kids, and I'm taking kids to football practice. Of course, COVID is has made it to the America has made it to the Delta, the Holmes County, and so we've seen people die, but I don't know if I took it as serious as I should have because I didn't understand it. I'm just in my mind I'm just focused on hey, listen, it ain't too bad. We're gonna be all right. And
Same.
yeah, I was focused on just doing work for the kids, still coaching. I'm driving the bus, and I'm not at the time. I'm not really wearing a mask, like talking about it because again, I'm not. I don't see the seriousness of it at that time because it was the beginning of it, and I ended up catching COVID, and my mom and dad they was worried about me because it really did me really really bad. So when I got it, I thought I was about to pass away. Like I promise you, I was at home one night and I was so afraid. I said, God, if you're gonna take me, take me in my sleep. That's how bad it was. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't really walk. So my mom and dad them was tending to me because I don't have a wife or anything like that. So they was tending to me. So the week after I get over COVID, my dad he's like, man, I think he got COVID. And so me and him we're talking the same day before he passed. We're talking. I mean, he's literally. I'm thinking, he's fine and would be, and you know, he goes and I think he goes to sleep, and I came over and I was like, well, I'm sleepy. I slept there that night, and I remember, and my dog was with me too. He was in there too. I remember my mom saying my nickname is Beetlejuice, so I'm gonna let you know that. So that's my nickname since I was a kid. But my
I
mom
love
was
Beetlejuice.
yeah. I give you the backstory about that one too. But yeah, my mom. The night I was, I came in, I was laying down, I was sleeping. I hear my mom scream, "Beat! I think something, I think my husband might be dead." So I'm getting up. I'm really like, like what? So I get up. The dog is in the room going crazy because the dog loved my dad. That they were, the dog is going crazy. So dog had already, I guess he already said, something wasn't right with him.
They know.
So she's up. So I go into the room and I check my dad's post and I check his post, look at his breathing. He has foam coming out of both sides of his mouth. And I look, my mama asked me, she said she couldn't look at him. She asked me, she was like, do you think he's dead? I'm like, Mom, I think he's gone. He's gone, So I checked his pulse because his body was kind of cold. So he probably had passed miles before time. And I mean, my mom went outside. I took the dog outside. Um, and for a moment, I was, I'm going through the motion. I'm trying to get, everything together. I'm trying to, get my thoughts together because right now, the guy that, I've known all my life, my dad, my love, man, as a man, I was devastated, man. And I sit there and I looked at him for a little bit. I had to stare at him. He was in his bed. I didn't want to move him because, like I said again, it was tough. It was tough. I know we had to call. I called my sister. I called my brother. I told him what was going on. It was hard. My sister flies up here. My older brother, by my dad, he came over. My aunties, my dad's sister and brother, they came down, and it was hours before the coroner showed up, and I was just staring at him, And like I said, it felt surreal. It didn't feel like this was actually happening. And I think that was the first time I started to really spiral when I lost him, because at the time I'm still working. I'm still working hard as crap. So he passes. We had the funeral about a week later, and so much of it I blame myself. I can't lie. I think that for me, I blame myself because in my mind I'm like, did I give my dad COVID? So this started to mess with me mentally, because now I'm looking at myself like, Lord, did I give my dad COVID? Was it me that gave it to him? Did I kill my dad? He had some pre-existing illnesses. Again, he had congestive heart failure. He also had a pacemaker in his heart. Uh, and he was on a lot of medicine to keep himself, stable enough. But I it that was one of the hardest days of my life, and the healing process for that was really, really tough, again, because I kept a straight face with it. Again, I still was reporting to work, still going coaching football, but the inside of me was really, really torn. For a long time I always been a person where a lot of people respect me and look up to me and think, hey, listen, here's this guy who is this tough guy, and I've been tough my whole life. But at that point in my life, I really, really, really went to a dark place, and I didn't know how dark it was. And I'm gonna be dead honest with you. There was so much going on. Not only just him dying, there were political things that were going on around the county as well. So I ended up it's messing with my career. So I'm just like, man, there's a lot going on at one time, and mentally I am really, really, really struggling, because at the time, like I said again, my mom and my dad been together. I know I'm 34 right now, and my older sister, she would have been 42, 43. And so they was together, I know, 40 plus years, you know what I'm saying? And so when he died, I think a piece of her left too, you know. And I stayed around a lot for her, around with her. It was like me and her, because like I said, my brother had moved to Atlanta. He was trying to make her feel good. He actually was trying to get my mom to move to Atlanta. He built him a house in Atlanta. My brother said he built him a house in Atlanta with him and his wife. And he wanted my mom to kind of, he knew she was lonely. We all knew. My sister, my sister, my mom, like, and my mom were like best friend. My sister Tamika, that's my sister that's still living. My older sister, her and my mom were like best friends. And like at the time, I think, so when my dad passed, a piece of her left. She tried to
Yeah.
keep herself occupied by working, and she would go out on Sundays. Sundays go to blues shows or whatever, and just try to keep herself entertained and occupied. But a piece of her left, and she was just trying her best to hold it together. But for her, losing a daughter in 2014, and then 2020 she loses her husband, I think it took a toll on her. And we
That
tried our
was
best
hard.
to try to keep her up, to try to keep showing love to her and everything, but it was tough. I think that and I'm not gonna say my mom lost the will to live or anything like that, but I think a lot of it, she was stressed out, not because she had to be, because like I said again, my brother, my sister, they were, and myself, we took care of her very, very well. Tried, wanted to get her a new house and everything, and my brother tried to get her to move to Atlanta, and she just wasn't going. She wouldn't leave, where she grew up at and where she had
Yeah.
built. Uh, So yeah, so again, as we're recovering, from my the passing of my dad, it's tough, because again, he has, kids, other kids. Because by my dad, it was 10 of us. My mom, it was 4 of us. But my dad had 6 outside kids. So, you
That'll
know,
do it.
yeah,
I
that'll do it.
understand.
So he had a lot, got grandkids and everything like that. So it was a lot to try to try to adjust to be honest. A lot of everybody missed his
Yep.
presence,
Yep.
including his wife, including his kids, man, everybody and his grandkids. I can remember my son coming home, my son coming up here, and he was coming up here visiting like he is now for the summer, and well, not visiting, but to stay. And he came in. My mom loved my son. I think she loved him because he looks just like he like the only grandkid she got. Everybody else looked like my dad a whole bunch, and my son, one that looks like me, which looks like her. So she loved my daggone son, and
Uh,
uh,
I understand.
and yeah, yeah. And he came home one day, and he usually goes back, comes over, and he'll go say hey to my mom and hey to my daddy. And it was one. I think this was the time where it really hit. He goes to the back room and says, "Hey, granddaddy," and my dad, of course, is gone. you know. And my mom looks at him and was like, "I'm sorry, baby, but granddaddy not here." And I don't know if he understood it. Uh, at the time, Aiden would have been about, he was 9. My dad passed, and so that was difficult. That was difficult, and that hurt a lot. And like I said again, it took a toll on me mentally because for me now it was my job to step up to be the father figure of the family, to be the head of the family, my family, and so it was a lot of pressure, and also uh, dealing with my career and the political things that's going on in my career and everything. I'm like, hey man, there's a lot going on. I don't
Yeah.
know what to do. Uh, so 2000, the end of 2022, well, not the end of 2022, the school year, the end of 2022, I I left the education system because I was just so tired. I was worn out. Like I said again, my dad passed 2 years ago, so I ended up going to. I left here for a little bit. It wasn't a permanent thing. I said I was gonna take me a year out of education, and I was just gonna go do something else. Go get me some more money because, of course, you a teacher, man. We don't make a whole bunch of money. You're doing it for the passion,
Yeah.
and so I'm telling you, you're doing it for the passion. If you're doing what you're doing in high school teaching in Mississippi, you're doing it for the passion. It's not for the paycheck. But yes, again, I decided, hey, listen, I'm gonna go to Texas. I actually got a job on the oil field. One of my fraternity brothers, helped me out getting a job on the oil field in Texas, in Laredo, Texas, actually. And so I left that summer of 2022. Of course, my mom she wasn't here technically by herself. Of course, she had her sisters and them next door that was here, and she had people that look after her. But me was mostly just me and her, and I kind of was afraid to leave her. But I was like, hey, listen, I'm gonna go make some more money so I can stack some money because she needed a new car. So I was gonna buy her a new car as well because I drew some money down for my 401k. Just like, hey, I'm gonna focus on making sure my mom's okay, making sure she's good. And it wasn't even a month I was out in Laredo, Texas, and my mom passed. And she ended up, man, it's she ended up having a heart attack one night. I think it was about 11 o'clock at night, and my sister called me, and she said, "Well, Beto, they said Mama passed out in the yard." So man, I'm 12 hours away, and this is really really hit home because I'm like, God, ain't no way, and there's no way you're doing this to me. Like no way you're doing it to me. Like no way. We just lost my dad, a year and a half ago. Like now, my mom, like no way. And so when my sister and them called, um, I immediately get up. I was getting ready to head to work that morning actually because I go to work at 4 o'clock in the morning. No, 3 o'clock in the morning in Laredo. So at the time it was like 11 o'clock. I was getting ready to go to bed. I'm sorry, to get ready to go to work. And so boom, I called my supervisor, called my frat brother, and I'm telling him, hey man, I don't know. My mom just passed out. I don't know what's going on. I got to go home. So
Oh.
I instantly hop in the company truck and I drive to San Antonio. So Laredo to San Antonio is about 2 hours because that's where the airport's at. And so I ended up getting a flight. Luckily, they had a flight to Jackson that I can get home. And so I drive to Laredo. I mean, from Laredo to San Antonio. And as I'm driving to San Antonio again, my brother and sister and them called me. At this time, they've gotten my mama to the hospital in Jackson. They got into the hospital in Jackson. But by the time they got her there, it took the ambulance. When they called the ambulance in Lexington, they didn't arrive on the scene until like 40, 45 minutes later. So the time I think that her brain had an oxygen deprived because of the late response from the paramedics, you know. And so, as I'm getting information. I got a homeboy who's let me know what's going on because they take her to the hospital in Lexington first. But boom, she goes there and they're like, hey, we're gonna airlift her to Jackson. So they put her on a helicopter and they airlift her to Jackson. And so it's still some hope there. I don't, so we just like, hey, listen, you know, she's gonna be all right. Of course, we always we keeping hope. And
Yeah.
she they get to the hospital. My sister's driving to the hospital. Well, drives to the hospital. They flying her, and she get in there, and they put her on the machines. Put all the machines up to her, and when they hooked her up, she had no brain activity. And so as I'm driving to San Antonio again, all this is happening. My brother and sister called me on three-way FaceTime, and I am crying from Laredo, Texas to San Antonio because it felt like, God, I felt like I was being punished. Like, Lord, and because now another piece of guilt is hitting me because I'm like, God, I shouldn't have left my mama. In my mind, I'm thinking, man, if I'd have never left my mama, I could have been there and I could have drove, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm thinking about all these things. So this is hitting so hard. And so now, as I'm driving to San Antonio to catch the flight, my brother and sister called me. My sister's like, listen, mama don't got no brain activity. And my sister, she's tough because mama was like her best friend. Her mama talked every day, all day. And for her, she sat at her bedside, because my brother's in Atlanta. He's 6 hours away. And he got his wife and his kid. He had so it was like, God. He was like, he looked at me. He said, "Juice, what you want to do?" Then both of them looking at me like, "Hey, what you want to do? What do you think we should do?" And I told him, I looked him in the eyes with tears rolling down my eyes. I said, "We're gonna pull the plug." I said, "Me pull the plug, Tamika pull the plug, and it's okay." And she was like, "Hey, do you want me to wait for you to land in Jackson?" I came. I said, "Tamika, I can't come to the hospital." I said, "You pull the plug, and we'll go from there." I said, "But I'm not coming there. I couldn't. I couldn't see it." And that's why I got a shout out to my sister, Tamika Russell. Man, she is a warrior because I couldn't see it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have been there. I think that I probably, if I was there, my decision making would have been hard because I'd have told them folks to keep on the ventilator until she come back. But I knew in my soul at the time I wasn't there that, hey, I'm not gonna let my mama suffer and let her body just sit there. And we made a collective decision to say, listen, we're gonna pull the plug. And so again, and the crazy thing about it is uh the months both my dad and my dad died in June of 2020. My mom died in June of 2022. I mean July of 2022, and my dad died July of 2020. So both of them died at the age of 61. It's kind of crazy. I don't know if superstitious or faithful. It was just like, wow, this is really, really surreal. So again, I get home, I get off the plane, I drive home, get to the house, and of course, it still just, it doesn't feel real. Of course, we go into immediately to getting funeral arrangements together and everything like that. But uh it was a tough time. Uh, the At the wake, they had the wake up here at the funeral home for my mom and my sister and brother. My brother was down, of course, the week of the funeral, and they go up to see my mom's new body and view it at the uh, view it that Thursday for the funeral. Funeral was that Saturday. I couldn't go up there. I couldn't. I couldn't see her because some in me just wouldn't let me do it because I knew uh, it was a piece of me that just I couldn't do it. And they kept saying, "Come on." I said, "No, I can't do it." And so her and my brother, they went up and they got everything together. Actually, my sister and my brother got the funeral together. They did all the arrangement. I didn't do nothing but put a couple dollars in. But that Saturday we had the funeral, and I didn't know it was going to hurt so bad, to be honest. Uh, as the funeral begins and that casket is open, and then the closer and closer I get to that casket, Quita, I've never cried like that before in my life. I The tears started rolling, and I'm looking at her, man. I couldn't stop crying. Like like talking about trying to speak at a funeral, I couldn't do none of it. And it just felt like my heart was broke. Like everything in me was gone. Like the two people that I knew loved me the most, that groomed me up, grew me up, I, they were gone in the span of 2 years. You know, and so mentally, I started to check out a little bit. I did. I'm honestly, I was drinking a whole lot. I started to drink a whole lot. I started to self medicate. I did. I was self medicating again because in my career, there's a whole bunch going on there. Some things happening in my career, and my parents. I'm losing my parents, so I'm at a point in my life. I'm almost feeling like, man, I'm at midlife crisis. Like, Lord, I'm really struggling. And of course, I had been doing therapy uh, before, but honestly, I wasn't being totally honest about my life, about therapy, about sharing my thoughts with my therapist because I would give them certain details because I'm still holding back. And but
Mm-hmm.
last year I finally
Mm-hmm.
decided, hey, listen, man, I got to be open about this. I'm gonna be transparent, because if I don't, I'm gonna end up either making myself sick. I'm gonna pass away. It's gonna be another man or another black man or another family member that's gonna pass away, because I knew I was struggling. I was struggling mentally. I mean, I lost my passion for coaching, for teaching. I really was just at the point where I'm like, hey, listen, I'm tired. I'm tired, man. Been through too much. And I know my sister and brother and them, they were worried about me, because again, I was taking everything so hard, because it just felt like I felt like with my dad passing. Of course, I'm driving kids that summer on the bus, and I felt like, man, I gave him COVID, so that was a guilt upon me. And I'm thinking to myself, and then here my mom passed in 2022, and I leave, and shortly after she dies, I just felt like, Lord, I'm just not making the right decisions. It's like, no matter what I'm doing, I'm in this place of just darkness, and I was, and I came to a point last year where I was just self-destructing. I mean, I was trying to hang on. I was trying to tell myself, hey, it's okay. I'm okay. I'm just going to get through it. I'm going to drink me a fifth of alcohol tonight. And I get up in the morning, I'm going to go to work, and I'm going to be effective. But um, it was tougher than that. It was a lot. And I finally had to tell myself, man, you mentally, you're not there. And it's okay. And it's okay. And it took me some other people to kind of tell me, hey, you're not yourself, Robert Hogan. You are not who we know you are and who we know you to be. Like, you are somebody else right now, and we all see it. And I think a lot of people, they had so much respect for me, and that, or some people were kind of afraid of me because they didn't want to tell me that they was like, hey, he a little different now. But I really was, and I had to seek some, and my therapist, who, but actually I used BetterHelp.com, and I got paired with a therapist. Her name is Brittany Clark, man. I mean, well, Miss Brittany. So she's a great therapist, by the way, too, man. She's really, really great. And so she's helped me to really kind of deal with grief, because
Shout out to
I was,
Brittany.
yeah, yeah, yeah. She's really, really dope. Yeah, she was helping me to deal with grief, and she helped me to really, really, really dig deep, and to go into my closet and really pull out everything that I was feeling. I had to talk about, because I wouldn't talk about my parents. Like, every therapy session I would talk about everything else except them. And she was like, she used to tell me like, hey, you listen, you avoid the conversation all the time about talking about your parents. Come on now, I know. Yeah, I tell a
Yeah.
little bit, and I
Yeah.
go to something else. I'm like, because it hurt so bad for me that I didn't want to talk about it. Didn't, and honestly, it wasn't like I was actually trying to do it. It was just like I just couldn't. I couldn't, because I was just so
Oh, I
hurt.
understand.
Yeah,
I understand.
yeah, yeah. And again, man, like
Well,
I said again,
let me.
yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, because I don't know. Texas is having a little weather situation, but I keep remember we talked about it before we started the little delays. So I don't know if I'm being delayed or not. Hopefully not, but every now and then it'll cut us off. I mean, it'll do the delay. But we've heard all the good things that. Listen, there was a comment that said, "My God, it's your resilience for me," and that's
Yeah.
all I could keep. That's all I could think hearing you tell this story. As I resonate with a lot of what you said, I lost my stepmother first and then my father behind her. And it was like, I think it was a 5 year gap in between. We lost her the day before Mother's Day. And my mother's
Hmm.
birthday sometimes fall on Mother's Day or the day before Mother's Day. So that was a lot. So I'm trying to prepare for Mother's Day while celebrating my mother's birthday and losing my stepmama. And so 5 years later, I moved to Memphis. I moved from Memphis um, in 21. I had no idea my father was that level of ill. They had a tendency to keep things from me because they didn't want me to worry or whatever. But after 2 years of being in San Antonio, my father's sick enough to die. A man who I've never even seen sick. So
Wow.
I definitely resonate a lot with that. But I have a question. And so
Uh-huh.
even just the vulnerability of the thoughts you had, the feelings you had, even the truth about how some people were afraid to tell you, what they were seeing. And that's hard, right? In our community, again, it's not a conversation we're always having. So people don't always know how to say what needs to be said. And that's no slack or shade on the person, but that's another reason that we have these conversations in the light room so that we can educate, empower, and equip. If you have friends that are struggling, Google is the best friend, find ways to effectively say to that person, I see you, I love you, and I want to let you know that you're not yourself. You need some support. So shout out to your friends that said that. But I have a question here from somebody in the comment section. It says, what have you learned about yourself through all of the experiences that you like to share with other young men trying to navigate emotions and feelings as they discover who they are, I guess, are, and the responsibilities of family. So, what have you learned about yourself through all of these experiences that you like to share with the young men who's trying to navigate emotions and feelings,
Okay.
um, and discover who they are and the responsibility of family? Yeah, because you did speak a lot about having to take care of the family, and I get it. Traditionally, men, anybody got to tell you that you take care of your mama, you take care of your sisters, you take care of the family. And so I heard you say that a lot. It was my responsibility. Nobody told me it was my responsibility. I'm an older child, so I still feel that same level of responsibility for my
Right.
mother, my siblings, and things like that. So, but she wants to know, what have you learned about yourself through all these experiences to share with the young
Okay.
men?
Yeah. If I share anything, one of the things that I learned about myself, again, growing up, as a man, period, and also as a black man, is just always keeping your emotions inside and not ever talking them out. Actually, being open and vulnerable, like you said. One of the things that I learned was that uh, it's okay to be vulnerable. Find you a trusted person or persons, find you a good group of community of people, and be open with them. And a lot of times we have this thing in our head thinking that we are going to be judged, and that if we open up, and it makes us look weak. But you never look. To me personally, I learned that I was weak for not opening up, and I learned that by opening up,
Mhm.
that's when I started to heal. That's when I started to piece it all together, to really understand who I am, what I'm going through. It's okay. And it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be open, because if you don't, what happens is most of the time you talk about African American males, and especially in impoverished areas, when we hold things in, we have these vices. We go to drugs, we go to alcohol, we go to
Mhm.
sex, we go to
Mhm.
all these outlets to try to heal our emotional damages. But honestly, man, just simple conversation with people that you trust and that love you, and understand that people love you out there. They really do. Sometimes the way we think. I know I thought, like, hey man, I can't show my weakness. I can't show people that I'm in a bad space. But then I really learned that, man, it's better for me to be open with my sister and my brother and my friends. Hey y'all, I'm just not doing the best right now. I'm struggling right now. I need some help. Certain things, like even trying to take care of my yard and my house and my car and everything, my son, I was struggling. So I wouldn't ask nobody for help. But I had to understand, hey, listen, man, it's okay. And so I started to call people, hey, listen, man, I need some help cutting my grass. And crazy thing about it is people, because I think that, again, people love me a whole bunch. And so a lot of people were willing to do it. They was like, man, why you ain't been calling me? Got you. To
Yeah.
take a load off my shoulder.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to fight this battle by yourself, Robert Hogan. That's the lesson. It was just like I was fighting everything by myself. And I've learned that, it's a lot of people in your corner, dude. All you gotta do is open up, open your mouth, be honest, and people will come and help you. You know, so that's one of the lessons. And
Try my best.
it's
Mm.
okay, and don't be afraid to seek help. You know, and it's listen. I'm not afraid to tell anybody. I've been seeing a therapist now since 2017, but I really just started to open up to my therapist. Like I said again, Brittany Clark, she's really really great. But I'm not afraid because I understand the way I grew up.
Child,
Some of it wasn't normal. Some of it wasn't normal. It wasn't normal, and no matter how, it's just like, hey, listen, I understand. If some things my parents and them didn't know, but a lot of us growing up, a lot of things that I saw growing up, and like I said, impoverished home county, it wasn't normal. It's not normal. That's not the way people supposed to operate. And we think that it's normal because this is how we've always been brought up. But in actuality, it's not normal. It's like, hey, man, this is not normal,
mm.
you know? And so that's the thing, is just being open and not being afraid to seek help, whether it be about a professional or minister, a pastor, or even you yourself, Quita, or also a trusted close friend. Seek out somebody that you trust, even if it's just one person, man, and tell them you feel it, and don't feel like you're being judged, because if people really love you, if they really love you, they're gonna be there for you no matter what. Yeah, yep. So yeah, that's my journey, man.
Woo! Okay.
And it, yeah, yeah, yeah. And like I said again, I at a one point,
Um,
if I talked about
hmm,
this, all I would do was cry, tear up. I couldn't really just talk about this. Or either I would
yeah.
deflect. I would change the subject really, really fast. I'm not trying to talk about this. Boom, or I hang up. I gotta go close. I gotta do something. Boom, because I wasn't trying to talk about this. But now I am happy to talk about it, because I know it's somebody else behind me that has to that may be going through it or will go through it, and hopefully I can give them some tools to help them out and to navigate the grief, the loss, the confusion, the uncertainties. So yeah, yeah, yeah.
Woo! All
I,
we started with grief, but I tell you, you have touched everything that went under grief, the character, the laws, the faith. You have touched all of it.
yeah, yeah,
And oh, I'm full because I say it, and you we really could end it right there. I don't even have to say anything else, but to
yeah,
hear
yeah,
it from you. And I know when I end my lives or when I'm talking to black men, I always say, I love you, black man. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I mean
yeah,
it
yeah,
with
yeah.
every fiber of my being when I say it. But to hear you say it, for you
Hmm.
to affirm, the that it's okay to be vulnerable, for you to affirm
Right,
that people do actually care about you. Because I get the whole you a girl. I know I'm a girl, but I know that there are men who care about you. I know there are women who care
right,
about you. And a lot of times we do get these preconceived notions in our head because of, bad experiences, bad conversations, some traumatic experience, whatever the case may be. So you don't even give people an opportunity to show up for you. But then
right.
you'll fuss about people not showing up for you when you never even called and said, hey, I need your help. You have, whew, ooh, okay, look, let me just
Yeah,
read some comments so I can calm myself down. Because I just
okay, okay.
okay, let me read some comments. Let me affirm you. Let me provide some affirmations to you because you have shared your heart and I appreciate it. Those of us who have listened appreciate it. And I'm gonna tell you, you got amen, great lessons, and that's a response from Dr. Sims who asked the question about what you would share with those young men, and you hit it on the head. And then somebody said that they spoke to your growth
Uh-huh.
through the experience. What they said, Hogan got me smiling so hard like a proud sister. I know, right? I know, right? Woo, got us smiling hard over here. I just love to hear it. And you are so right, bro. Not my mama saying, bro. There are some true help slash friends out there for us. It
Yeah,
absolutely is.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then Dr. Sims says again, your strength and wisdom will carry nations. Ooh, y'all look now. I don't cry on camera,
Uh-huh.
okay? I don't do that. I don't do that. Y'all stop. Y'all stop.
Yeah,
Who? And
yeah.
then let me see who is this. This Candace Harris said your resilience is golden.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
When I took this time off in May, we have to be careful. One of the reasons that I kind of shied away, I started in professional counseling at Delta State, but it was very difficult for me to disattach myself from the work. When people tell me they've been harmed, all these things, I was 25 when I started. Shout out to Dr. John Hawkins. He was at Delta State University at the time. He was my skills professor, and whew, that man is amazing. But I found it hard and difficult to disattach from their experience and mine. So I didn't want to pursue being a therapist because I just did not know how. And so when
Uh-huh.
this advocacy space came open, it allowed me to do what I'm doing, but in a way that I don't have to get into it. But so I thought, because even though I'm not always the one talking on the live, I have you all come and share your story. Sometimes it's still a lot. And so I took May off to rest and to restore myself, to refill my cup because, a lot was going on in life. Like I said, grief is I buried a lot of people. I buried 7 male classmates. 7.
Yeah,
we're 40 and 41 years old. I have buried 7 male classmates, and it don't get easier with each, with each loss. So to hear you in this space talking about grief, talking about loss, talking about recovery, being honest, so that you can get the help that you need, I appreciate you. I
No.
appreciate you. And I'm going to share this with the men in my family, because my
Uh-huh.
brothers, when we lost our father, I can't imagine, I had 2 brothers that lived in the home with him because they lost their mother and our father.
Uh-huh.
That's a lot. And
Yeah.
so I might even put you in contact with my babies because,
Yeah, that's fine.
y'all might have to do
That's
the
fine.
boy
I don't mind.
conversation.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Y'all might have to do the boy talking, but I just know,
Yeah,
my brothers are tough. Yeah, my brothers are
yeah.
tough, but life be tough and a lot
Life be
tougher.
tough.
So
Promise
thank
you.
you.
Yeah,
Whew, I don't have anything else.
yeah, yeah.
I don't I don't have anything else. You
Yeah,
have
yeah.
given us more than enough to be proud of, to go to bed on, and I know your parents are proud. If nothing else has made her smile, and I'm gonna say it, I know this night has made your parents smile. You have spoken from your heart space. You have been honest, and I'm telling you, this will go to YouTube. And
Okay.
I pray that it reach men all across the world to
Yeah, yeah,
hear
yeah.
the vulnerability, to hear the honesty, so that they too can begin their healing journeys. Because your parents were married with 40 years. That's what we're
Yeah,
trying to get to in our
yeah,
generation. We're trying to get back to that. The
yeah.
whole 50-50, the whole male against female. It's a lot going on. But to
A
love
lot.
somebody as long as I've been alive,
Uh-huh.
man,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
okay, that's beautiful. So thank you so much for sharing. Do you have any? So one, how can people connect with you beyond this? If there are men who have heard this and have seen this and they want to reach out to you, just for you all to grow together in brotherhood, how can they reach out to you?
Again, like I said, again, my name on Facebook is Robert Hogan Jr. It's the page with the football pitch on there. You should see, if you see it, it's Robert Hogan Jr. You can get in contact with me on there. My page is open. You can inbox me at any time. I also have my phone number on my Facebook page. So if you ever just want to reach out, send me a text. Let me know who you are, so I can know who you are, and then we can go from there. But I am definitely open to talk to any male, no matter if you're older, you're the same age, or you're younger than me. I am open to anybody that wants to talk. I am a safe place as a man. I don't mind listening, or either if you want advice, I can give that too, or my point of view, what I think. I don't mind, or I can just sit there and listen. I don't mind. So anytime, like I said, Facebook, that's fine, and I'm on Instagram as well. Same name, Robert Hogan, on there. Uh, TikTok as well. So whichever, just, but Facebook would be the main way to get in contact with me. Just Facebook, give me direct message me, and my phone number is on my page. If you want to reach me, it's the 662-639-0339 number. So yeah, I don't mind. I'm open.
I would also love to put you in contact with the program, the Green Heart program. We
Okay.
could definitely use your perspective and your experience in this space. So we'll talk offline, and I'll reach out to Colleen about it. But I would love for you to have this certified mental health advocate and coach behind you as well. We
Uh-huh.
don't, we go through things. Pastor Ed, I went to church out here on Sunday, and Pastor Ed said, he talked about Moses and what God had called Moses to do. And Moses was like, who am I, to go and tell Pharaoh what to do? And God asked him, who made your mouth? God already factored in all the things we would
Right.
experience, go through. And like Pastor Ed said, all these things have prepared us to have a perspective that speak to those who have not made it to the place of saying, I need help, have not made it to the place of saying, I'm in pain, have not made it to the place of saying, I'm struggling. And so you
Right.
become a voice for the voiceless. It's just the way he said it that really brought light to that statement, being a voice for the voiceless. And it really gave me comfort in the work that I do, because sometimes I know mental health in our community is tough. I
Yep.
suffered almost all of my life until I decided one day I didn't want this pain anymore.
Right.
And I spoke to, shout out to Pastor Gerard Gunter of New Direction in Memphis, Tennessee. Shout out to PJ. Like, that was it. That I couldn't hide it anymore. Going to church, still suffering. singing, still teaching youth ministry, and just toe up, but
Right.
people can't help you, when you're not being honest or when you're not saying. And so thank you for allowing these opportunities to, bring that level of resilience in you. And like she said, your strength and wisdom will carry nations. What a legacy. That was Dr. Sim saying that. But thank you for being in this space. I almost feel like we should like sit on the couch and stuff and do more, but we'll talk about that because I feel like there's more in there. I
Yeah.
feel like there is
Yeah.
more
Yeah. Yeah.
in
Yeah.
there. And man,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want, and I think I will. I have you and I have some other Black men that I would like to bring into the space. And guys, I ain't trying to make y'all, soft, if you will. I
Right.
want, because I have a son. And when you see it from that space, from, an infant baby to where he is now, I get to see it from the other side. I watch him grow and develop. Y'all carry a lot. Some things are
Yeah.
unspoken and y'all carry it just from being men. And so it definitely created an even sweeter spot for men in my heart because I gave birth to a Black man. And I just wanted to let y'all know that y'all are loved. You are protected, you are needed, you are necessary, you are desired. We appreciate all that you are and all that you do. So thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for opening up June, Men's Health Month, Men's Mental
Yeah.
Health. If you are a man and you watch this video, Black, white, Puerto Rican, otherwise,
Right.
if you watch this video and this resonated with you, reach out to Hogan and just give him some green hearts, give him some affirmation and build that community. This is what the light room is for. This is why this space is available and open. I'd rather you come on this live and talk about it in front of me and whoever listens than for people to be at home feeling like nobody cares and nobody wants to listen. So
Right.
thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. No problem.
So I'm gonna let you
No
get back to your son. Tell your son thank you for allowing us to take his daddy away for this little
Yeah.
time. Thank
Yeah.
him
Yeah.
for his little cameo appearance. But tell him I said thank you for,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
for allowing us
Yeah.
this time for you to share your heart in such an open space. Um, well, I'll be in contact. There's more for you, and yeah, I'll be in contact
Yeah.
with you. So
No problem. No problem.
you enjoy
We
the
look
rest of
forward
your night, sir.
to you too. You too, Quita.
Absolutely. All right.
Thank you. All right.
Talk to you later.
All right.
Bye-bye. I don't cry on lives, okay? I don't get all emotional and all that, okay? Mm. All right, I'm good. My heart is full. What a way to open June. I said the other day, June is already amazing. Whether you're a man or not, if you listen to this entire live or even certain parts of it, you understand. My heart is full. I appreciate Robert so much for coming into this space. And to anybody that experienced loss and grief, I hope this is a level of comfort to you to seek out the support that you need. Seek out the resources, the therapy, the community. We love you. I love you. I know I say that a lot of y'all. I don't have to meet you. I don't have to know your name to tell you that I love you. I mean it. That's just who I am. That's just who I am. So, welcome to the Light Room. If this is your first time, I pray it's not your last time. We have two more amazing male guests that are coming up for this month. We will be live again next Monday, right? You get 3 times in a row in June. So we will be live again next Monday with my awesome cousin, Wayne Crowley Jr. Man, we was on a family call one day and I had to be like, who y'all invited to the family call? And it was Cuz, man. Cuz was laying it out. So I'm so looking forward to that conversation with him. He's a father as well, a dynamic young man of God. My auntie did an amazing job, and my Uncle Wayne. So thank you all for checking in with your green hearts. Please share this live. Remember, the replays are no longer available on Facebook. You have to subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you can be alerted when these videos are up and ready for you to view. Share this with your male family members. You ain't got to say nothing. Just say, hey, I think you should check this out. Hey, just watch it. We have to begin opening up our space for them to feel safe. We can't get healthy husbands without them being healthy men first. Okay? And I still need a husband. All right. This has been Mental Health Monday. Good